It's time for you to wrestle with God, and let me tell you why. If you grew up in an organized religion or a space where you felt as though you couldn't ask certain questions, you couldn't say certain things, or you couldn't question who God is or what he does, then maybe this video is for you. I believe that there's a point in everyone's journey where they make their relationship with Christ their own. That means it's no longer dependent on your parents, on your siblings, on your pastor, on any of the elders. It's all on you. But with that being said, in that search for God, that search for Christ, oftentimes there are questions that you might ask that may seem like they're wrong to ask, but I promise you, they aren't. Now, here's the thing. Wrestling with God is not wrong. It absolutely is not. In fact, there are people in the Bible who wrestled with God. In fact, I would even go as far as to say that wrestling with God strengthens and deepens your relationship and makes it more your own than anything else. You see, there are different ways to wrestle with God, whether that's through negotiation, whether that's through going back and forth in prayer, whether that's through getting on your knees and crying, or simply asking God, hey, what does this mean? Like, I see this all the time in the word, but like, I don't understand what this means, how it's applicable to my life. These are all methods of wrestling with God, and that's okay. You see, the more I study and the more I get into my word, the more I realize that I'm in this season of wrestling with God, and it can be a long season. But I find myself questioning, God, what does this mean? God, why does this situation happen? God, why am I placed in this certain season of my life? Other times, wrestling with God for me looks like me standing in my room at 3 a.m. reading back the promises that God has in his word to him, saying, Lord, you said this in your word. You promised this for us. That's wrestling with God. You see, the Bible gives us some examples of people who wrestled with God. We know that Abraham wrestled with God when it came to destroying the city of Sodom and Gomorrah. We know that Jacob physically wrestled with God, and that story is crazy in itself. We also know that Jesus wrestled with God. In the garden, he asked, Lord, is there any other way that this task of going to the cross can be fulfilled, or does it have to be me? That's wrestling with God. You see, today people wrestle with a whole bunch of different things. And they're not too sure if they can bring that to God, if they can question him, if they can be angry with him, if they can say what's on their heart. But God is patient. God is loving. God is ready to receive and hear everything that's on your heart. So, my friend, I beg you, please go wrestle with God. Wrestle with him, with the things that you're struggling with in your life, the questions that you have, the situations that keep you up at night. Question him. God, why did you let this happen? God, why did I have to go through this situation? God, why do you have me in this financial situation? God, why can't I find a job? Why am I struggling in my relationship? Whatever the case may be, you can wrestle with God on it, and he will, I promise you, he will be with you every step of that wrestle, and he will guide you through it. That's all I have to say. Bye.